Hello everybody, welcome back to That's Football, the home of World Cup watch-alongs. I'm Mark Goldbridge and you're very welcome for Uruguay against Saudi Arabia. It's another new one as well. First time, we've only got 2 stadiums left now that we haven't actually had a game at in this amazing World Cup. So we're in Miami for this. There's Darwin Núñez. And the final one will be Argentina-Algeria, which will be Kansas. So looking forward to this. Bielsa ball. Saudi Arabia produced a major shock at the start of the World Cup last time beating Argentina in Qatar. Can they pull it off again against South American opposition? Uruguay sort of skirting under the radar a little bit. A lot of people talking about Colombia, but Uruguay did finish on the same amount of points as Brazil and Colombia. So they could be an interesting team in this tournament. I'm hoping, I will talk about Snarly in a minute. I'm hoping that with Uruguay, we get, like in a tournament or a league, you get a team that just plays good football. I'm hoping with Uruguay, I'm not expecting Uruguay to hit the quarterfinals or anything like that. If they do, fair play. But I'm hoping that somebody along the lines is going to play a brand of football where you go, I like watching them. So hopefully we will get that with, it could be Saudi. For all we know. Saudi's coach last time, I forget what his name was, but I quite liked him, but they sacked him just before this tournament. So it's the pink boots, it's the pink kit for the referees. So here we are in Miami. Let me talk to you about Miami momentarily. We haven't been in this stadia before, so I would do. I've bloody ruined it now. I've only gone and bloody closed it down, idiot. See if I can find it. No, I won't be able to do that. It's going to take me a bit of time now. We'll leave that for the moment. Let's have a look at the teams on your screen, which we have for you. I'll talk about the stadium in a little bit. So Miami is East Coast, so it will be sort of around 6 o'clock, coming up for 6 o'clock in the evening here. There's the Saudi team on your screen. They all play in Saudi Arabia, so unless you're watching the Saudi League, which, to be honest, we all watch the Saudi League, don't we? We won't really know a lot of their players. So suffice to say, they will play with decent players. They'll be playing with the likes of Ronaldo and Kessie and Benzema on the regular, so they'll be used to playing against good players. It'll be interesting to see how they do as a nation. As for Uruguay, Valverde starts, Agate starts, Bentancur starts, Araujo starts, Núñez starts, so Varela. Is that the Varela that used to be at United? I think it is. I tell you what, I don't know whether this has happened in other World Cups, but I do quite like the way when the teams come out, they unveil these massive flags. I mean, it must have took ages to make them, and hopefully they've only made one, because I'm thinking about all the sheep that they had to use to make them. But a few empty seats at this one, yes. Yeah, it's a nice stadium though. I want to talk about the stadium, but I didn't open up the page because I'm a bloody idiot. Are we doing a 2 o'clock game tonight? No, because it's Iran, New Zealand, which I just don't want to pretend that I could stay awake for that one. But tomorrow night, it's Algeria, Argentina at 2 a.m. We've got 3 watch-alongs in a row tomorrow. 8 o'clock, France, Senegal. 11 o'clock, this time, Norway, Iraq. And then 2 o'clock in the morning, it's Argentina. So get yourself a bit of sleep tomorrow, because we've got 3 big games tomorrow. We get to see France, Norway, Argentina. And I have a feeling in my bones that Argentina, Algeria might just be a very good game of football. Might. Let me talk to you about this stadium here just before we get off to the start. As I say, this is one of 2 stadiums that hasn't been used yet. So we're in Miami for this one, and that's Mexico. Kansas is the last one, which is Argentina, Algeria tomorrow. It's a lovely stadium. If you're staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, I mean, what will effectively be Wednesday, you're going to get a treat. Argentina, the holders, against Algeria in Kansas. Fantastic stadium, that is. But we are here today in the Hard Rock, Miami, I think. That's where we are. Yeah, Saudi Arabia, Uruguay. We're in the Hard Rock Stadium. It will host 7 matches. It's got a capacity of 65,000, so it's a big stadium. I mean, it's bigger than Arsenal, is it? Bigger than the Emirates, 65,000. It opened in 1987. It's the weather is the big concern for this one, with stifling heat and humidity. It can be an uncomfortable experience, apparently. So we could get thunderstorms. That no fixture will begin before 5 p.m. because of that, and the opening game, the venue itself, which lies 13 miles north of Miami, is home to the Miami Dolphins and has hosted 6 Super Bowls. So this is the Miami Dolphins ground. The Miami Open Tennis tournament is staged inside the stadium as well, and it will hold the 3rd place playoff on the 18th of July. Interesting fact. It'll have a quarterfinal as well. Colombia will play Portugal here. Scotland will play Brazil here. And Uruguay will play 2 games here. So Scotland, Brazil will be played in this ground, and Colombia, Portugal will be played in this ground. So there'll be 2 good games. We're on ITV, Calorie, yes. Thank you everybody who's tuned in on TikTok again, by the way. You're very welcome as part of this World Cup community. Thanks everyone who's given us a follow there as well. And thanks everybody who's tuning in on YouTube as ever. Make sure you subscribe if you're new and get involved. We are loving this World Cup at the moment, and you know, that's football's been going on for a long time. I mean, it's 8 years ago that I sat there and did the Colombia World Cup watch-along knockout game where we won on penalties, and I was nearly crying. Used to get used as a little bit of a gif, actually. So we have been around for a long time, but newbies are always welcome, and we're having a fantastic World Cup here, and I'm looking forward to some of the memories that we're going to make over the next few weeks together. So please do share the video, give us a follow, subscribe if you're on YouTube, and thank you for getting involved. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. I thought Belgium was a bit of a crap game, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think it was Egypt's fault. I blame Belgium. I think they're just very disappointing. But we move on from that. Agate's starting if you're a United fan. So hopefully he can put himself in the window. I mean, the worst thing that could happen is he has a bloody worldie and we say, let's keep him. So that would be frustrating. Thanks for the follow, Thomas and KJJ as well. Irish Ryan says that England loss to Mexico in the Azteca is going to hit like crack. Got a long way to go before that, pal. I can't imagine a Super Bowl being in this. But it did. We've had one. Nunes tonight as first scorer in a grand effort to make up for Trossard earlier, says Nick P. Al Dasari has ability, says Robert McCormack. Al Dasari. Well, Roberts, mate, you've sort of nailed it a little bit. I'm more than happy. I always have players to watch in a game of football. And I will give you mine in a minute. But if you want to look out for Al Dasari, he's 34. And he plays on the wing, I think. Yeah, so that's Robert McCormack's thing. Buzz FM Radio says, which team impressed you so far? USA, Morocco, Ivory Coast. They'd be my 3 top ones, I think, at the moment. Yeah. But look, exciting thing for me about this Uruguay side is Bielsa. I'm hoping they're going to play some good football. This is a very experienced Saudi Arabian team. I think like unlike any other team, their average age is very high. Like they don't really have any younger players. I mean, all their forwards are over 26, apart from Al Ghanam, who's 25. In the midfield, 31, 31, 30, 24, 29, 34, 25, 22, 27. Defenders, 23, 24, 26, 33, 26, 26, 27, 29, 30, 26. So they're a very experienced team, Saudi Arabia. And obviously, because of where Saudi Arabia is, again, another team that will not be impacted really by the heat, same as Uruguay. Looking at the Uruguay team, I mean, I've got no idea. I can't tell you about who to keep an eye on from the Saudi team. We'll just have to wait and see. With regards to Uruguay, Pelestri's in the squad. Oh, I wasn't familiar with your game. Pelestri's on the bench. Get him on. Former Man United player, currently playing for Panathinaikos. Again, a very experienced team, actually, for Uruguay. In fact, more experienced than Uruguay. They don't have, sorry, Saudi Arabia, they don't have a player under 24 in the squad. So they're a very experienced team, Uruguay. Two very experienced teams. You don't get that on ITV. Trouble with ITV and BBC and CBS and all that lot is they've got to play to the moron. So they've got to, they can't give you detail that deep because you've got to play to the moron who'll be tuning in, you know, Karen. Literally, I was walking around Sainsbury's this morning, and considering I go in there at least once a week, I've never heard anybody really talk about football. There's a couple of old dears picking out the apples, talking about the Germany game. I was like, World Cup fever. That's what I mean. You've got to play to Edith and Doris, and they don't want to know about how experienced this Uruguay side is. But they literally don't have a player under 25. Agate is one of the youngest players in the Uruguay squad. They've got no defender under the age of 26. Agate is their youngest midfielder at 25. In fact, Agate is the youngest player in that squad. Sorry, Pelestri, 24, is the youngest player in that squad. And Agate is the second youngest player in that squad at 25. That is incredible. That is incredible, really. That is a very experienced... So with two very experienced teams here. Chris says, I'm feeling over the moon right now as a Cape Verdean. Well done, mate. Baller League literally did what I thought they would and compared it to Gold Devils. Saudi might lose, but we're going to play fun football, says FaZe. I hope so. I don't know anything about Saudi, but I hope you play good football because that will win you prizes. And Bielsa ball is normally good football as well, as we saw with Leeds. Do you think standing on the shoulder of the giants is good, says Zane? There's a few gas panics on there, isn't it? I think. You better get on your knees and pray. Standing on the Shoulders of Giants album. Let's have a look what's on it. Yeah, gas panics on that, definitely. God, I'm very good with what I know. Couldn't remember Dele Alli, but I can remember Gas Panic is on that. Fucking in the Bushes, brilliant. Go Let It Out, okay. Who Feels Love? Not my favourite. Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is, average. Little James, crap. Gas Panic, brilliant. Where Did It All Go Wrong? Pretty good. Sunday Morning Call, okay. I Can See a Liar, shit. Roll It Over, shit. So, I mean, it's no, definitely maybe, and it's no, what's the story, Morning Glory, but it's okay. Sunday Morning Call's all right. Where Did It All Go Wrong's okay. Gas Panic's brilliant. Fucking in the Bushes is brilliant. Go Let It Out is okay. It's an Oasis album, sorry. Trust me, this is the way these watch-alongs can go. We're a community. We're watching football like we're sat watching the game of football at 11 o'clock at night in the UK. Thoughts on Tonali to Spurs? Okay, I did want to talk about this, Killian. So Fabrizio Romano has dropped it tonight that Spurs have moved for Tonali. Now, we were talking about it in the United Stand chat group, and Matt, the producer, thinks it's the agent trying to generate some interest because they want out of Newcastle and nothing's happening. So it's probably quite a clever move to say Spurs have made a move to try and prompt other people to make a move. Because if anybody else makes a move, you'll go there. You're not going to go to Spurs, are you? Uruguay moving the ball around really well here. Saudi Arabia playing with a back five. So, yeah, but he's not going to go to Spurs, is he, Killian? Because you'd be better off staying at Newcastle. Neither of them are in Europe. I mean, you're just replacing like for like. You'd want Champions League. The master plan is not an album by Oasis per se. Good shot, straight at the keeper. I think it was Valverde. He's got a very good left foot. And an early corner from Uruguay. They've started off really well here. High tempo. It wasn't Valverde with the shot. Sorry. I thought it was Valverde. It wasn't. But they've won a corner. I don't know who had the shot there. Was it Vinas? Yeah. They've got weird shirt numbers. I know it was Arahu, wasn't it? The shirt numbers are... I mean, that's a 2. Looks like a bloody Z. I don't know what Uruguay are doing with the font on their numbers, but... There we go. Corners with the keeper. Hi, Mark. I'm a fellow United fan, says Corin. What did you make of Forlan? It's my first match at Old Trafford. He scored, took his shirt off and couldn't get it back on. Yeah, I liked Forlan. It could have worked a little bit better for him. High intensity press here from Uruguay is really good to see in this first few minutes. They're committing so many players forward. This high press from Uruguay is great to see. Look at how high they press. I've said that 3 times now. We've got all the ingredients of a really good game here. Alex Panda, Nice World, Lewis Barnes, Moro, thank you very much for giving us a follow on TikTok. Legends, thank you. Hamza hasn't missed a World Cup match yet. And he hasn't missed a watch-along. Well, we haven't done every game, to be fair. Although tomorrow we are every game. I'll go through the schedule again at half-time, but we are every game tomorrow, I think. I think. Well, no, we're not. Yeah. Yeah. Well. We're not doing Iran, New Zealand at 2 a.m, but we are doing France, Senegal, Iraq, Norway, and Argentina, Algeria. But we're not doing Austria against Jordan. That Austria-Jordan game is incredible. Because I want to watch Austria. I like Ralf Rangnick. I'm going to go through the Austria squad in a minute, actually. And I do like them. But I can't stay up till 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, suppose you could get up early. Austria, you could get up early. But that would mean you'd have to sleep through Argentina or Algeria, which I'm not willing to do. But good start here from Uruguay. How do you do it, Mark? I don't know. I am very talented, of course. But no, to be honest, I have done watch-alongs before where I'm just like, how am I going to get through this? But genuinely, every watch-along we've done of the World Cup so far, I've really enjoyed it. I think the community's been brilliant because without that, it doesn't work. I've loved the sort of atmosphere of this World Cup, and I'm just really enjoying it. And to be honest, it's only going to get easier, isn't it? Because if you're enjoying the group stage, imagine what it's going to be like when the jeopardy of the knockouts come along, or game 3. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Let me just come back here. Any advice for my maths exam tomorrow at 9 a.m, says Hamza. Yeah, skip it. Sleep in. YOLO. To be honest, mate, I can't give you any advice because I haven't seen the paper. Uruguay, I've absolutely jinxed them there. Uruguay do move the ball around. Very nice. Very smooth. As I said, if you're tuning in a little bit late, Uruguay and Saudi Arabia must be 2 of the most experienced squads in the World Cup. Most of their players are over 26. In fact, the youngest player in the whole Uruguay squad is 24 Palestri and 25 Ugarte. Why do you think Ugarte failed at United? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think he's a strange one. Ugarte's number 5 for. He's just got the ball now, so. Let me just switch the ball out. Lovely there. I mean, I don't know. I watched Ugarte. I think the Copa America was on the summer we bought him, and he was fantastic. And we needed somebody energetic who can win the ball back. And he wasn't terrible in his first season, but his second season, he has been not very good. And as we saw with Amrim, he wouldn't pick him. And then Carrick would rather use Mason Mount there. And Carrick basically used Mainu and Casemiro till they dropped. You know, he just would not sub them. So, yeah, he just, I don't know. Confidence, adjustment to the, the Premier League. I don't know. Backup striker says Jordan are dark horses. I don't know whether he's taking the piss or not. Sean, Anonymous, and Meg, thank you very much for your follows on TikTok. We've had 10 minutes here already. Hugh says, have you been collecting the World Cup stickers? Yes, we have got a sticker book, but I did make a little bit of a mistake because I was 3 stickers away from completing the 2014 World Cup one. And I don't know why I didn't just order them, because that would have been completed. But there was 32 teams then, there's 48. So Panini are having a laugh, aren't they? They're I bet Panini would love 100 teams to be in the World Cup. Naman says, Mohamed Kanu is the Saudi Pogba. Do you like dairy products? What about Iceland? I like milk. Axes from a small Caribbean island called Anguilla. I love your videos. Thank you, pal, and thanks for being part of the community. What's your favourite streaming services for movies? Says Lewis, getting some weird comments in tonight. Welcome to the show, everybody. I don't really have a favourite. I think I've got most of them. I think I've even got Disney. I don't know why I've got Disney, because there's nothing I actually watch on. Oh, Rivals. I was watching that. Very good. Lightning is very active in Florida. Let's get a weather report from Data Dean.
Thanks, Mark. Miami is the stadium here. And the weather in Miami, well, you don't have to be a weatherman to know it's going to be hot.
Let me have a quick look at the weather here.
So, 29 degrees, Mark, and the scary thing is that there could well be thunderstorms. I'm having a quick look here. There's an 85% chance of precipitation at 7 o'clock, which could lead to thunder.
We might have our first game today then where we get a thunder break. Because it's 6 o'clock at the moment. I'll be honest with you, this is not the sort of game that if we get a fucking hour delay for thunder, I'll still be here. It does say 85% chance of rain at 7 o'clock, and it's 6 o'clock there at the moment. Let's have a look at AccuWeather. Turning cloudy with a thunderstorm in a couple of spots this afternoon. Lightning from nearby storms may impact the soccer match. So there could be thunder. Thunder! La 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 la, thunder. Are you going to watch the South Africa game? Says Seep. What game is the next South Africa game? South Africa's next game is... No, it feels like it should be before then. Can't see it. Why can't I see the next South Africa game? It really should be around... Well, they played Mexico, so they should be playing... Why have they disappeared? Oh, they're playing on Thursday at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock against Czech Republic on Thursday. I probably will watch it because it's on at 5 o'clock in the day. Ignore me, he's been terrible since my super chat, says Zeno. I will find that now so we can all laugh at you. Which most legendary World Cup player? For me, it's Maradona, Sean. A lot of people say Pele, but I never saw him play. I did see a bit of Maradona. I think Maradona, to me, just epitomises the World Cup. The aura, vintage, legendary status. I'm sure Pele's the right answer, but I have no correlation with Pele because... You know, I never, ever saw him play. Agate had Ten Hag and Amrin. Both didn't want or develop him. Carrick came in whilst Agate had no idea what he was doing. I feel for him, says Keel. L33 says, don't ever leave YouTube, you secret Liverpool fan. I'm not a bloody secret Liverpool fan. It's just that you had the best summer last summer, and I think you might have a good summer this summer. I can't help the fact that I do like Iriola as well, and I really like Diamonde. It pisses me off. In a different world, we would have given Iriola the job and signed Diamonde. Saudi players playing for that Rolls Royce, says Darham. Thoughts on United's all or nothing Amazon deal, says Jordan. I think it's a risk, but I think it's a good risk because, you know, if you're Spurs next season, you haven't got a documentary team going around with you, have you? If you're Man United next season, you've got a documentary team going around with you. You want to do well, so it should keep us on our toes in relation to performance and hopefully a good summer transfer window. I think after 11, the comments deteriorate, says Samarito. This Arahu at left midfield was great under Amrim as a left wing back. Shocked he didn't go for him before we went for Dorgu, says Zeno. Juicy says, did you watch the UFC last night? No. Dino, I can't... Andrew Tan says, Mark, breaking news, Tonali to reject Spurs. Yeah, 100%. Irish Ryan says, I just said this because England is complaining about the heat. Just wait till they complain they can't breathe because of altitude. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that will be, you know, if England do get to play Mexico in the last 16 in the Azteca, it will be tough. And, yeah. Josh, yes, I read both. Thank you. Thanks for the follow, John Wick on TikTok and Dynamique. Darwizzy's going to bag. What did you think of the Sweden-Tunisia game? I thought Sweden were very good. I'm very looking forward to watching them play the Netherlands on Saturday. And is it Germany, Ivory Coast on Saturday as well? I think there's a couple of good games on Saturday. Yeah, Germany, Ivory Coast, 9 o'clock on Saturday. Get in. And Netherlands, Sweden at 6 o'clock on Saturday. Get in. Two very good games. Looking forward to those. Are you worried about Liverpool next season? I'm always worried about Liverpool, Keith, because they're our biggest rival. I mean, it's the only game of the season that I have always, even when we were good. Anfield's always a stress because you want to win it. You don't want to lose. That's a foul on the centre. I mean, we've had 20 minutes here already. It's the Phantom of the Opera. Tom says, do you remember USA 94? My earliest memory of football. So this is pure nostalgia for me. Happy to stay up and watch. Oh, yes, Tam. I've mentioned this a lot. I mean, I'm just going to repeat myself to a lot of people who've heard me say it before. I absolutely loved the USA 94 World Cup. Baggio, Georgie Hadji, Stoichkov, Nigeria were brilliant. Maradona played in that World Cup and he got banned for drugs. And Argentina looked bloody brilliant until that, and it rocked them. They smashed somebody 6-0, I think. They were really good. So yeah, I loved that World Cup. There is a sad story from that World Cup. Colombia came into it with a lot of expectation to do well. Their centre back, I think his name was Escobar. I think it was Escobar. He scored an own goal, and after, when he went back home, he got shot and died. True story. He scored an own goal in a game, and somebody shot him. But no, I did enjoy that World Cup. Andros Townsend to United, here we go, says Tiger. Hector says, yes, it was Escobar. Bizu says, for me, the biggest upset in the World Cup is Spain. It's a bit early for that. Upsets. 2 players you would share a threesome. I'm not reading that, even though I sort of did. What did you think of Egypt, Omar? I think... Hold on a minute. In the box. Oh, Saudi got away with that a little bit. Deflected away. Just dropping in the 6-yard box. I don't expect Egypt to do particularly well in the World Cup, i.e. I don't think they're going to get past the last 16. I think that's their limit. Is this a handball? Be harsh. No, not given. So I think Egypt's performance against Belgium, I haven't got a problem with. They went 1-0 up. They defended quite well. And to be fair, they had a few chances themselves in the second half. So I thought Egypt played quite well. I thought Belgium were disappointing. So yeah, I thought Egypt did quite well in the comparable to the expectations I probably have for them. Thank you very much for that, Omar. Thanks for all the super chats on YouTube. I think we've caught up on those. And thanks everyone who's tuning in. Please do share the video as well, and do subscribe if you haven't done that before. Rayan says, thoughts on Morocco? I mean, that's a very tough game, Morocco against Brazil. But as I said, Morocco are in the top 10 rankings in the world. I didn't know that until a couple of hours ago. Corner to Saudi Arabia, headed away. I thought they were brilliant for half an hour. And then I think that goal by Vinny equaled the game up. And I think from that point, it was quite an equal game. Keel says, do you remember Alexi Lalas? Yes, he played for Coventry City. They signed 2 players from the American team. Kobe Jones played for Coventry City as well. You see, how do I remember that stuff? And then I was on the United stand earlier and I couldn't remember Dele Alli's name. And I couldn't remember Will Ferrell's name on the last stream. But I remember Kobe Jones playing for Coventry City from the '94 World Cup USA team. Yeah, I think there was. I think around that time there was 3 Americans that played in the Premier League. There was Kobe Jones, Alexi Lalas, and John Harkes, who played for Sheffield Wednesday. Media won't mention lack of what in the MLS? Corrupt. Johnny Payton says the media won't mention the lack of pro/REL in MLS. I don't know what that is. Drinks break. Which means I have a little... God, my back's knackered at the moment. It really is. What do you think of the game so far? I feel this is something we're going to have to just assess in this World Cup because it's clearly very hot there. Very hot. I think Miami is... I mean, look, Saudi Arabia and Uruguay will be very used to hot weather. And you can see it's quite humid there. But you can see they're really hot. We've got to be careful about games like this because I think Uruguay would like to play football. But Saudi are obviously, I think Saudi Arabia are not even in the top 50 in the world. So they are playing a back five. So for the good of the game, you probably want an early goal. Oil Cruiser says, to be fair, Will Ferrell is immediately forgettable. Thoughts on Norway, says Dapan. Well, we'll find out tomorrow. That's the 11 o'clock watch along tomorrow. But what I would say about this World Cup, and I can't remember it from previous World Cups, is that the kickoff times are very inconsistent. And that's probably because it's a big World Cup and it's being played in lots of different cities. But I remember, like, USA 94, the kickoff times were 9 p.m. There was 9 p.m. There was definitely like a 2:30 in the morning. And I think there was a midnight or something like that. But the kickoff times in this World Cup are very much all over the place. Like, we sometimes get a 5 o'clock game and we sometimes get a 9 o'clock game. Sometimes we get an 8 o'clock game and a 6 o'clock game. Sometimes we get an 11 o'clock game or a midnight game. Sometimes we get a 1 a.m. Sometimes we get a 2 a.m. Sometimes we get a 3 a.m. Sometimes we get a 5 a.m. So it is a little bit all over the place in relation to, you never know from one day to, you know roughly when the games are going to be on, but you never know. Sometimes you're out by an hour. Do you think Brazil are overrated in this World Cup, says Dart? Look, I love Brazil. I mean, Brazil are the most iconic World Cup team. If you think about who's the most famous World Cup team, it's Brazil. But they haven't won a World Cup since 2002. And I think they are a country that lives... There's Kalina. His name's not Villalobos. Like, they've got the name wrong there. Yeah, I think that Brazil sort of do live on their heritage, really, because something's gone wrong with Brazil. Like, I know Neymar's a good player and Vinicius Junior is a good player, but they don't have... I think the biggest problem with Brazil is, and you can say, where's the R9, where's the Ronaldinho, but you could almost say, well, Vinicius Junior, Rafinha. But the biggest alarm bell for me about Brazil and the way that they've clearly changed how they develop players is they don't have the fullbacks. Like, Brazil always had amazingly brilliant fullbacks who could defend but also get forward and score goals. And they just don't have they don't have those types of fullbacks anymore. So I think Brazilian football's struggling with a bit of an identity crisis. I don't know how they've lost what they always were. Maybe it's the coaching, the development, I don't know. But I personally don't think Brazil are any better than about 12 teams in this World Cup. Now, whether they can, with a great manager like Ancelotti, navigate themselves through to the final and win it, they could do that. But I don't think that Brazil are actually going to win this World Cup. I actually think they might get knocked out before the quarterfinals. Finbar, thank you for following. I don't want Brazil to get knocked out before the quarterfinals, by the way, because I think a World Cup with Brazil in it is a better World Cup. That Vizinha story is what football's all about. He's 40. He only started at 25. Played unbelievably well against the giant Spain and gained 1 million followers. He was brilliant. He was very. I'll tell you what, Ashish, that Cape Verde goalkeeper, he was very agile, which you do want to be. I mean, you can't be a goalkeeper with a bad back, but he was very, very, very agile. Germany looked brilliant, Mark. Did they have a chance? I think the opposition for Germany makes you think, let's see what they do against Ivory Coast. But I tell you what, if they beat Ivory Coast playing well, I think Germany are. And I love their Nagelsmann. I think the way he plays football is brilliant. Crash Gaming says, what rule would you take from the World Cup to the Premier League? All of them. quick throw-ins, quick corners, quick free kicks, quick goal kicks, quick substitutions. Lovely play by Uruguay, but he doesn't get the cut back right. They've still got it here. Strange cross to the back post. Oh, what a save by the keeper. What a save by the goalkeeper. Sort of needed it to go in, really. It's gone for a goal kick, but the cross came in. And anywhere but there, basically. It was straight at the keeper, but his agility was good. Bielsa can't believe it. That was Vinas with the chance, by the way. Keel Robinson says, in general, is it a poor generation of defenders? I don't think defensively the world game's got a problem. I just think, like, you look... I don't know. Is there a dearth of, or a lack of really good left and right backs? Because, you know, you look at Mendes and Hakimi, and beyond that, who's challenging them as the two best fullbacks in the world? I tell you what, though, if we can make the game less stop-start, which is what this World Cup's done, it makes it harder to defend. Like, you know, if you're a park the bus team, it's a lot easier if it takes 40 seconds to take a throw in or 2 minutes to take a corner. So I am very impressed by what FIFA have done by keeping the game flowing. MCR Bailey and Charlie and KDB Backup and Elizabeth, thanks for your follows on TikTok. You're very welcome tonight. Hope you're enjoying the stream and the chat. What's been the best World Cup year in your opinion, says KW? Well, I did it on my threads today. Italia 90 was my favourite because it was the first. Lord Harkey says, are you going back to Baller League? If I speak. You just have to wait and see. Timber, Reece James and Trent on his day, says True Gent. Yeah, but that's not a lot, is it, for the whole of the world? France 98 was good. I can't remember. I was asked. I put it on my threads, Instagram threads today. I posted like, what's your top 5 World Cups? And I basically had Italia 91, France 98 2, Brazil 2014 3, USA 94 4, and Germany 06 5. That was my top 5. Shadow Editor says, when there is a hydration break, I drink water too. Well, this is good. If we all have a drink, when they have a drink, we'll be getting more water in while sitting on our arse watching football. You know what? The hydration break is good for me as well, because I normally have to wait for the chat to say, Mark, have a stretch. I get up every time there's a hydration break and have a stretch as well. So I'm getting up every 25 minutes. Just Pasty, thanks for your super chat. He says, what do you think about firing a coach mid-World Cup, Tunisia? It's not even bloody mid-World Cup, is it? It's the first game. Tunisia think they're in the bloody Premier League. I mean, who sacks their coach in a World Cup? What are they going to do? Run interviews? Imagine if we sack... What a cross. Keeper does really well to get there, and he's been fouled as part of it. Imagine if Tuchel got sacked for losing to Croatia, and the FA go, we're now going to run some interviews. We've got Eddie Howe. You know, it's just crazy to sack your manager in a World Cup. And to be fair, I mean, Tunisia, are they actually any good? I mean, it's not like you've lost 4. It's not like Sweden have beaten Germany 4-1, is it? I think it was a bit harsh. Saudi on the attack here. Let's have a look at the squad. I mean, you go through that Tunisia side. I mean, they have got a player that plays for PSG, Ayari. They've got a Celtic player, Tenekati. But I mean, it's not really a side that you'd go, oh, they're going to do well in the World Cup. They'll beat Sweden. Amel says, I'm watching you from Afghanistan. It's 3 a.m. game, 3 a.m. and the timing's very bad for us. Yeah, there always will be. There always will be a place where it's not a great time. Lucas is absolutely spot on. What did Tunisia think they would do against Sweden? I know. Willow says, loving the stream, Mark. Thank you very much, pal. Thanks everybody who's tuning in. We've got nearly 8,000 watching on YouTube and we've got a few hundred watching on TikTok as well. So thanks everybody for your follows and subscriptions and thank you very much for that. Got a free kick here for Saudi. We need a goal in this game. Hugo says, what's your guess in the outcome of this match? This is a slight problem. We might see this in a few games. We saw it with Cape Verde today. Saudi Arabia obviously are the underdogs, and when they haven't got the ball, they're parking the bus. Albert says, you forgot about our homeboy Hannibal Mabry. Well, as I say, they're not stacked with players, Tunisia. I find it weird. Loving the live stream. Thank you very much. Will. David says, hope you're well. I watch every United Stand video every day. This is my first ever super chat. What's your Tottenham and Tonali opinion? Well, first and foremost, David, thank you very much for your support and your super chat. I think there's no chance of Tonali signing for Tottenham. I also don't know where Tottenham would get £90 million from to buy him. It's the strangest story. Great save! What a chance for Saudi. Dropped in the box from a corner. And keeper's tipped it over. I mean, he probably... Well, no, he can't do much more. He's placed it quite well. Keeper's palmed it over the bar. Good save. Milo says, Aaron Wan-Bissaka challenges for best wing-back. Yeah, that's why he plays for West Ham. In the Championship! Bloody hell, Saudi again, close. I mean, do you think anybody will sign Aaron Wan-Bissaka from West Ham? Long shot there from Saudi that goes out for a throw. Goal kick. Tottenham trying to get Tonali is like Goldbridge trying to replace the Cape Verde manager. Levels to this game. No offence, Mark, says Goldie. I'd be too good for Cape Verde. It's all the way around. Harry says, what's your thoughts on Ederson to Man United? I like Ederson. A couple of years ago, I would have been really excited about it. I do think it's a little bit of a strange deal for United to do, but it might... Baggio. There he is. Roberto Baggio. What a player. Do you think Baggio's married? I just think he doesn't look the sort. What do you think he does with his time? I overthink things. Yeah. Go! Oh, he saved it. Goal! Saudi Arabia. There we go. 1-0. And I tell you what, it's been coming. It has been coming, and the game needs it. It was a header from the corner, straight at the keeper. He can't hold it, and somebody's followed it up and tapped it in. We've finally got a goal. And to be fair, I think Saudi deserve that. I really do. It's sort of been coming for the last few minutes. And Uruguay could be pulling... Are Uruguay the South American Belgium? I tell you what, that's poor defending by Uruguay. Because the cross comes in, they win the first header, and then they win the second ball for the tap-in as well. But they had been warned. The keeper had made a couple of good saves before this. Just Paste, he says, it's unlikely for Tunisia, but I hope they get someone fun in like Klopp. Yeah, I don't think Jurgen Klopp's flying out to America to manage Tunisia in a World Cup. And also, I don't know what Tunisia were thinking, considering... I mean, let me get my head around this. Tunisia are in a group with Sweden, the Netherlands, and Japan. What did they think was going to happen? Gary says crap goalkeeping. I don't know whether it is crap goalkeeping because ultimately that header is straight at him and you've got to try and... The only thing he could have done better was try and get it away from the 6-yard box, but it is difficult. Saudi are playing with their... Saudi are playing a lot more confident now. First 20 minutes, I think they were a little bit conservative. But I think they've looked at Uruguay and gone, let's play a little bit expansive. You know, they're not all that. Cherno says, what's your thoughts on Darwin Núñez's career? I was always a fan of Darwin Núñez. Even at Liverpool, I've always complimented him. Even at Liverpool, I thought at Benfica, his goal-scoring record was pretty decent. But the one thing I always would give Darwin Núñez credit for is he is a chance magnet, and that's not easy to be. Like, he does get into good situations. He just doesn't put it in the back of the net. Iron says Uruguay stink. Look at their last 5 results. Well, they could be. Tim says they're missing Suarez. Have you seen Suarez try to play football these days? I think his knees are gone, aren't they? It's amazing that he still plays for Miami. Garte there wins the ball back. Well, I'll tell you what, it's always a bonus. I don't do 0-0s. Yellow card here for a high foot. Thoughts on Amrim to Milan, says Peter. Yeah, somebody asked me that on the previous stream. I think it's a very difficult job. I like Amrim. I really enjoyed his interviews at Man United, and it's a shame it didn't work out. But that's going to be a difficult job in Milan because I think they may be a little bit more of a mess than Man United, so be tough. So yellow card there for Al Amri for a high foot. Uruguay looking like Tenagarte's on the pitch, says Denise. Emmy says, I'm disappointed in Uruguay on TikTok there. Foucault says, I think this game might be over. Julian, thanks for the follow. Nah, there's plenty of time left. That's a good cross. It's a good header, but the keeper deals with it quite comfortably from Vinas's header. I don't want to jinx him, but this goalkeeper looks quite good for Saudi. Good play in the box, Uruguay, little dink, and it's a corner. Saudi and Cape Verde, 1 and 2, end the group now. Yes, this is that group, isn't it? I tell you what, the games come thick and fast. I apologise, I didn't even tell you what group this is. So this is group H. And yeah, it's Spain, Uruguay, Cape Verde, and Saudi. I don't think Spain will be having sleepless nights about not going through. Lovely ball. Oh, I tell you what. He's offside. That's better from Uruguay, though. A couple of good chances. Nick P, thanks for your super chat. He says, I'm struggling for lookalikes tonight. There's a tiny bit of station officer Nick from London's Burning about the Saudi manager, a retired version. That's very niche, Nick. London's Burning. I do remember the show, but I don't remember who station officer Nick is. Unfortunately. Uruguay used to be such a dark horse, it's a shame, says Rob. Well, as I said, maybe they are the South American Belgium. Agarte's playing, so Uruguay will lose, says Harrison. Yeah, that's a bit of a United joke. So every time Agarte came on, we would concede 2 goals, it felt like. Dums and James, thanks for the follow. Harry says, keep your streams up. 4 minutes getting added on here. This is quite an early one for us tonight. It's not even midnight yet, and it's nearly half time. I hope it's not a... We've got to keep an eye on the weather here, because there is talk of thunderstorms. God, you know what? Sometimes I see old clips and I go, I look better now. It's the hair. It's mainly the hair. Daniel Thompson's in the house. Hope you're doing well, Daniel. He says, hi, Mark. Hope you're well. Had a good day. Loving the watch-alongs. So many golden generations have faltered. Belgium, Uruguay, England, 06, to name a few. Which nation has their Which nation next has their golden generation? France. I think this France team's got to win something, hasn't it? It is stacked when you look at that squad. I'd say France, yeah. Portugal maybe as well. Portugal's problem is Ronaldo's 41, and people say maybe Ronaldo shouldn't play every game. But if Ronaldo doesn't play, it's Ramos. So without Ronaldo, they don't really have a striker, do they? Morocco golden generation. Morocco golden generation. You're absolutely right. Very good team. Thoughts on countries having foreign managers, says Lewis. I'll talk about that at half time because we're nearly there. Daniel, thanks for the follow on TikTok. I haven't put enough gel in my hair. I hate my hair when it's dry. I have absolutely shit hair if I don't put product in it. You know, some people, if they don't, they can just get out of the shower, let it dry, and their hair's good. My hair is absolutely shit if I don't put any product in it. It's just sort of like nothing. I'm old school, Jack. I use gel. I don't use wax. The wet look, yeah, that's. I need a wet look gel, definitely. Marcus says, what's your thoughts on Tonali to Spurs if it goes through? It won't go through. Yeah, it won't go through. We're at half-time here. Saudi leading 1-0, which is great because I had a bad feeling we might be heading towards a 0-0, but I don't do 0-0s, so we're absolutely okay with that. I will tell you the schedule for the next 4 days at half-time, but whilst I have a stretch, ooh, yeah, it's a good one. Makes it look like I'm having a dump. I don't do that when I go for a dump. That would be. I do commentate on a lot of things. I don't commentate on taking a shit. Was asked a super chat there on YouTube about Gareth James goal. Thanks for the follow on TikTok. I was asked a question there about foreign managers. What are your thoughts on it? I've also got to answer the 32 teams or 48. So we'll do these very quickly because it is half time. I don't have a problem with foreign coaches because most smaller nations have a foreign coach. Like a lot of African teams have had foreign coaches for years. So why shouldn't a European team do that? Belgium had Martinez. I mean, the problem is if you go for a foreign coach, get a bloody good one. I mean, and England had Sven-Göran Eriksson in the year 2000. We had Capello in 2010. So England, you know, some people act like Tuchel's the first foreign coach we've had. He's not. Ancelotti is at Brazil. If Brazil had good coaches, Ancelotti wouldn't be coach. If England had good coaches, Tuchel wouldn't be coach. I have got no problem with a country employing a foreign coach. It is a problem, but the problem isn't mine in the sense that it's not my fault we don't produce enough English coaches. So I haven't got a problem with it at all. Ideally, I'd like us to be managed by an English coach, but I tell you what, if we win the World Cup next month, which we are going to do, I won't be sat there going, and everyone will be going, why are you being so quiet? Well, it doesn't hit the same with Tuchel because it would be a lot better if it was Steve Bruce. I wouldn't give a shit. I really don't care at all. Not at all. The other thing I wanted to answer as well, we did this on the previous stream for Belgium against Egypt. We ran a poll. 48 team World Cup or 32 team World Cup. 48 team World Cup won with 53%. I would be in the 32 team with the 47%. I preferred the Euros with 16, 4 teams of 4. It was, you know, every game in the group stage was competitive. I think more teams dilutes the quality in the early rounds. So if we had 48 decent nations have a 48 team World Cup, but I don't think we've got 32. So I would keep it at 32. I am enjoying this World Cup, but I think that I would rather it was 32. But the next World Cup's 48, so it's going to stay 48. It's the new world, isn't it now? So, and I'm in the minority anyway. I got a signed Bruno Fernandes kit for my birthday, says Chris. Well done. I'm going to guess you were 62. I'm guessing your birthday, Chris. 62, and you woke up And you got Bruno Fernandes full kit signed by Bruno. Tiger says, which golden generation was the most disappointing? Belgium. Definitely Belgium. They should have been so much better. You know what? ITV must sit there patting themselves on their back every bloody minute of this World Cup, because every time it goes to that view looking out at the Brooklyn Bridge, they must go, have that. And every time someone at the BBC sees it, it must make them cry. It appears Potter is doing a good job with Sweden. It's early days, though. Sweden against Netherlands on Saturday will be very good. South American teams have had their day. There's no fluidity now. I think this is an interesting point from New Camping Man, because fucking hell. Whoa. That was... I've done that before. That was close. There's some streamers who would have loved that to have actually happened, not me. I was very close then to, well, who knows what had happened, because I might have hit my head on there and also hurt my knee. Yes, going back to what New Camping Man said, I still want to sit in that position for a minute. It felt quite good. It felt like a bit of a stretch on the left side of my back. Actually, that's a rubbish way to sit. It's really hurting my knee. So, New Camping Man said South American teams have had their day. There's no fluidity now. I think you're right. Have they become European, South American teams? The great thing about South American teams was the flair. You know, they produced players we didn't produce in Europe. That was the South American thing. They didn't produce players. We couldn't produce players like that. Have they become European? Yeah. I'm being French and I'm 16, says Chris. Oh no, Chris says I'm being for real and I'm 16. Love Man United. There we go. I was joking about you being 62. I was just thinking it would be quite funny if a 62-year-old got a full Bruno kit for their birthday, but that would be a bit ageist, I suppose, which I hate. Mark, no Asian team has lost a match so far in the World Cup. Can you imagine if somebody won the World Cup from Africa or Asia? Be brilliant, wouldn't it? Well, it wouldn't be brilliant because it's coming home, but yeah. I'd love. I tell you what, the World Cup needs an underdog to win it. It would be brilliant for the World Cup next time because it's coming home this time. Ian says, can I argue the other side to 32 against 48? Cape Verde wouldn't qualify without it being 48, and they just achieved something that lives forever. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's a counter argument. Thank you very much for that. Dunk killing Bielsa playing Ugarte centre midfield and not Valverde, says Robert McCormack. I've been very, very impressed with Duncan Ferguson. I saw him on the overlap. I thought he was brilliant. I always liked him as a player. He was quite scary because, yeah, he was a bit of a hothead as a player. But I think Duncan Ferguson's been a really good pundit in this World Cup. Again, ITV. They just can't stop scoring. Harvey says, do you think Uruguay are going to come back and win this? Saudi look okay. I mean, their keeper looks very confident. They've defended very well. They've had a couple of chances themselves. Feels a little bit like Egypt against Belgium. I think the way it's going at the moment, I'd say the best Uruguay could get is, oh, that looks delicious. There's an advert on the telly for steak with that. Oh, I haven't had it in ages. Chimichurri. Oh, that is one of the best. I'm going to write it down. I don't even know if you can buy it. It is so... I love chimichurri on steak. Not Tyson Fury. That would be cannibalism. David McPherson says, booked everything to fly over to the Morocco game. I'm very... Santi says chimichurri's where it's at. It is. It's very nice. What's your favourite sauce to go on a steak or chicken or fish? I think chimichurri's right up there. It's easy to make, Mark, says Wilder. Yeah, David, enjoy your trip to watch Morocco. I've got to say, that is... something you know, I've got to be honest, I regret. I really regret. I would love to have gone to I would love to have gone out to the States and gone to the World Cup, but Gary won't let me do it. And I did cry for about a week, but he was like, no, Mark, you've got to sit in your room and watch the watch-alongs. But no, enjoy it. I would have really, really liked that. Feel a bit sad now. No, I'm joking. I would like to. I would like to go, but this is what I do. You know, I love doing this, and ultimately, what we're seeing visually is a really exciting World Cup. I think it's been brilliant. Southgate making a TikTok about England playing tomorrow is like seeing a former lover again, says Pistol. I don't know what Southgate's up to. I thought when he left England, I could actually just leave him alone and not really give a shit, but I just yeah. If I speak, I'd be in trouble. Southgate, leave it. Pistol. Saudi look composed and equal with the Uruguay. Do you think the influx of good European players has helped Saudi Arabian national teams, as Christian? Well, we were talking about this before kickoff. Like, all the Saudi players, apart from one, play in the Saudi league. And Egypt have a lot of players playing in the Egyptian league, but they don't have an influx of Ronaldo, Benzema, and all these other players. So for the Saudi league, it must be brilliant for them. You know, surely Saudi Arabia will get better having those players there, and they've got a World Cup coming up in 8 years' time. The only thing I would say about Saudi is that most of that team is over 25. So where are the younger Saudi Arabian players coming through? I think that's the big thing about the money they've spent on that league, is where are the younger players coming through? Because that's the next stage for Saudi Arabia, isn't it? You know, they will want a team that's competitive in 2034. United to hijack Tonali deal from Spurs, first episode of the documentary, says Nick. Thank you very much for that. Shana and Mixing, thanks for your follows on TikTok. Appreciate you. If you're watching on YouTube, please do subscribe to the channel. Bottom right-hand corner, it's just one click and you've subscribed. We have daily content on the channel. I've got my England preview going up at about midday tomorrow. And then tomorrow, I will go through our watch-alongs. But off the top of my head, it's 8 p.m. tomorrow night, France-Senegal. It's 11 p.m. tomorrow night, Norway against Iraq. And then 2 a.m., we're doing Argentina-Algeria. So we're pulling in a big shift tomorrow. I'm actually thinking tomorrow night, I've just done an 8 o'clock tonight. I'm doing the 11 now, and then I've got to do a 2 a.m. I mean, that's going to be... It's probably the most challenging one of the World Cup so far, but I can't not watch Argentina. So, yeah, tomorrow night. But make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're on YouTube. Loads to get involved in. We are building we've already built an amazing community here, and the World Cup is again delivering. And if you're new, get involved and subscribe, give us a follow. Also, if you are new to That's Football, or even if you're not new to That's Football, I must just say, we did a deal with the Overlap back in April, which was announced, and everyone said, oh, everything's going to change, and nothing has changed. But at the start of next season, there will be some additional content coming to this channel and the United Stand. But this channel, some of it's just very, very exciting. So stay tuned. Obviously, stay tuned in for the World Cup. But as exciting as the World Cup is, and it is very exciting, there's some very exciting stuff coming to this channel over the next 12 months. So click and subscribe. Be here from the start. Right, players are on the pitch here. I didn't get to go through our schedule. Well, I did. I told you the games, didn't I, for tomorrow. So, well, today now, isn't it? Because it's just gone midnight. So, yeah, 8 o'clock tonight, France against Senegal. Looking forward to that. 11 o'clock tonight, Iraq, Norway. And then 2 a.m. Wednesday morning now, which sounds weird because I still feel like it's Monday night. Argentina, Algeria. And then on Wednesday, 6 o'clock, Portugal against Congo. And 9 o'clock, we'll have a few beers. It's England against Croatia. Looking forward to that. Uruguay made a couple of subs here, by the way. Then on Thursday, we've got... I don't know what we're doing on Thursday as watch-alongs. We've got Switzerland, Bosnia at 8. And I feel like Czech Republic at 5. I'd have to double check that. I don't 100% know if I'm right about that. Players coming out on the pitch. Hopefully we're going to avoid... It's just cloudy at the moment. I don't think we've got thunderstorms. Have to wait and see. So, Nunez and Vina are coming off at half time. He's changing both of his front two here. Canaboya and Sanabria are coming on. Czech Republic against South Africa at 5 o'clock on Thursday, and 8 p.m. we're doing Switzerland, Bosnia. Friday, 8 p.m. USA, Australia, and 11 p.m. Scotland, Morocco. And 1:30 a.m. Brazil, Haiti. Right, can we get on with the game, please? That would be great. So a double substitution at half-time for Uruguay. They're losing 1-0 to Saudi here. And we're up and running. And the clock's there as well. Yaz, Super Title, and King Bush, thank you very much for your follow. And Daniel and Slippery. Nunez off, yes. Darwizzy is off. He's gone. He's been substituted. Ruthless from Bielsa. I mean, why would you take your front two off? Because they haven't been a threat, really. I suppose that would be the easiest explanation. Another cross into the box, but the Saudi keeper deals with it. Uruguay are going to have to play with some really big intensity here. Ooh, is there a I thought there might have been a bit of a penalty there. He went down in the box, the Uruguay player, but it's Valverde saying, look, I was tripped, but referee ain't having any of it. He is not interested. Uruguay have definitely started off with some real intensity here. And Saudi a little bit... That's an offside anyway. He looks good, this Saudi goalkeeper. I mean, he's a bit of an anana in the way that he just wants to palm it back into danger. But apart from that, I think he's having quite a good game. Henry and Toctic2, thank you very much for your follow. Nunes wasn't registered second half of the season, says Robert McCormack. What does that mean? Oh, he wasn't playing for the second half of the season. Yes, he's probably not very match fit then, is he? Purple says, I've been listening since 2020. Really big fan of what you do and what you've been doing. Been great to see you evolve, even as a Liverpool fan. On this channel, that's absolutely fine though, mate, isn't it? Because that's football's for everybody. And we done loads of Liverpool shows and watch-alongs and Arsenal and Chelsea. So thank you, pal. Appreciate your super chat and your support. Is it me or is half-time longer than the usual 15 minutes? Says Zeno. I don't know. I felt like that offside. Offside. I felt like that half time went quite quickly, but I don't know. I'm just having a great time in this World Cup. The games seem to go really quick. Half time seems to go really quick, but maybe that's just because we're having good conversation and stuff. I don't know, but it didn't feel like that long to me. Alex says most teams have looked inept. USA win. It does play into the hands of Mexico, Canada and USA if nobody's a real standout. And look, people did say because of the weather and long, hard seasons, it might equal things out a little bit. So, you know, look, I don't know whether I don't think we'll even get a dark horse in the semi-final. I think the semi-finals will still be the Frances, the Germanys, the Brazils, the Argentinas, the Englands, the Spains. But it would be great if we did get a team that do really well. Agate, make me happy, please, says Just Pasty. Most team have done that one, says from Alex. Are you doing any New Zealand watch-alongs, says Fluke. Well, I'm not. I'm definitely not doing against Iran. Oh, headed just wide there, Uruguay. He wants another corner. VAR will give it. I tell you what, I like this as well. VAR is so quick that if they get it wrong, that'll be a corner. Watch how quickly they'll say that's a corner. They'll tell the referee that should be a corner. They're so fast. Oh, no, they didn't. All right. I've just absolutely been sat down there, haven't I? Getty says, are you tired, Mark? No, this is a bit of an early one tonight because we've done, well, we did, last night was midnight, wasn't it? Yeah, so last night was midnight. And then we had 2 4 o'clock finishes with Scotland, Haiti, and United States, Paraguay. So 2 a.m. finish last night, and then the previous 2 were 4 a.m. So we're going to be done here at 1. So this is quite an no. I'm sort of in the rhythm now. It's like when you go on holiday somewhere and there's a time difference, isn't it? You do get used to it. The worst thing you can do with this World Cup, bit of advice, is lovely cross into the box by Uruguay, headed over the bar. They're starting to get chances here, Uruguay. A lot of chances. That was actually offside. Worst thing you can do is, I think, have a night off from the games, because the minute you go back to going to bed at like 11 and getting, your body clock will mess you up. So my intention now for the rest of this World Cup, or until we get to a point where they're playing at 8 o'clock, is to just stay with this rhythm of sort of going to bed at somewhere between 2 and 4 a.m. Because if you fall out of the routine, it'll fuck you up, man. I'm even saying man. That just shows you how serious it is. Beatrice says, I'm half Uruguayan and Bielsa has been holding our talent back recently. He leaves after this tournament, so we may get arguably the best Uruguayan manager ever, which is Diego Aguirre. I'll tell you what I find fascinating about this Uruguay team, Beatrice, is that every squad you look at, and I'm going to look at the Austrian squad in a minute because we've not really spoken about them, and I really like Ralf Rangnick and I like the way he plays football. Hold on a minute. Good attack here, Uruguay, another corner. It amazes me that Uruguay, everybody's over the age of 26, apart from Agarte and Pellistri. So Pellistri's 24 and Agarte's 25, and everybody else is over the age of 26. So where's the young Uruguayan players coming through? Constantine says Uruguay comeback incoming. They are all over Saudi at the moment, and we've only had 6 minutes of the second half, and they've created about 5 chances. They've gone up a gear, that's for sure. But the keeper's got hold of that. Gentleman says Ballon d'Or winner prediction. Well, I think it should be Kane. European Golden Boot winner. You can't just give the Ballon d'Or to a player who wins the Champions League every year. It's like Bruno winning Player of the Year. We were nowhere near winning the league, but he was the best player in the league. You don't need to win the Champions League to win the Ballon d'Or, I don't think. There's got to be mitigating circumstances. Hi, Mark. Do you watch the GOAT tomorrow, says Zahir? Well, it is technically tomorrow, isn't it? But Wednesday feels like the day after tomorrow, but you are technically right, yes. Christian says, Saudi look composed and equal with Uruguay. Do you think the influx of good European players has helped Saudi Arabia? We've done that one from Christian, and yes, I do. I do. Just going to have a quick look at the Austrian squad. Oh, good defending there. They're putting some good balls into the box, Uruguay. They're on the attack still here. They've been very good this first few minutes. That's a nice ball into the channel, but Saudi are defending well. I mean, Austria are another quite experienced team when you look at it. Arnautovic still being played. Gregoric, 32. Arnautovic, 37. Lema, 29. Sabitzer, 32. Grilch, 30. But they've got some interesting players in the Austrian team. Chukwuemeka, he'll bring a bit of pace. Where's Baumgartner? Is he injured? Oh, don't tell me he's not in the World Cup. I can't see him in the squad. That will genuinely upset me if he's not in it. Uh, 26. No, he didn't make it. Injured. That's a blow. That's a big blow for Austria. Yeah, I'd argue he's probably one of their best players. I don't think that was a red card. No, I could see people in the chat saying that should have been a red. I think it would have been a bit of a soft one. Barry Noble says, "How shit is Agarte?" Daniel, I'm just going to remove you from the chat. We have an amazing community, and if you infiltrate it being a knobhead, you won't be here for very long. Have you seen Widow's Bay yet, Mark? Says Plebe. Don't know what that is. If Portugal win the World Cup, that surely means Bruno is winning the Ballon d'Or, says Pistol. Isaac says, as a United fan, why do you care about Trashy's future so much? Yeah, we do get occasional stupidity in the later show. Mate, I present the United Stand, which is the biggest United community in the world. We do a couple of shows a day. I don't massively care about Rashford, but it gets asked a lot, so I'll probably talk about it. 2 o'clock here in Greece. I have university exams tomorrow, and I'm here enjoying the game with you all. Thank you for what you do, Mark, says Mike. Well, thank you for your lovely manners, and thank you for... Well, thank you back, yes. Toot has given us a follow on TikTok. Thank you very much. Georgios says, I hope you're well. You too. Wazza says, are you staying up for the Iran game? No. No. It's an opportunity to get in a couple of hours back. There's R9 in Miami. What a player. I would love, you know, like post Messi and Ronaldo, we've got people like Yamal coming through. I would love the next superstar player to be like R9. You know, a striker that's strong, quick, good in the air, but can dribble. Cross into the box, headed over. Uruguay's finishing hasn't been very good. Have you watched Game of Thrones, Mark? Yes, I used to really enjoy it. I thought the final season was shit, though. Stoichkov. Do you think all these players just get invited over to be in the crowd and they're sort of like, why not? There's a name from the '94 World Cup, did very well. Georgie Hadji as well. Romania and Bulgaria, Nigeria, none of them here. That's a lovely ball into the flank from Uruguay. Final ball not quite there. Bammy says it's hard to explain to young people how good R9 was without bringing up stats. Just an absolute, complete, unplayable. Whoa, he's hit the post from distance there. I think it was Agate. Agate hit the post from about 30 yards. Look, watch this back. Very unlucky. Yeah, R9 Ronaldo was just like quick, strong, good in the air, very good control, and also he'd get the ball and take you on. It was keeper saved that as well. Alan, very good call. He's had their keeper's had a good game. I think he's been their man of the match. Brilliant player. R9. Himothy and Mo, thanks for your follows. Cycling is life as well. Oh, there's a player who went down in the box there, got trodden on. I mean, you're not going to get a penalty for that. What are your thoughts on Algeria's chances, says World Cup matches? There we go. I'm sort of going through teams that we haven't seen yet because it gives us a chance to sort of assess them. I've heard a few people saying that Algeria are quite good. I do always think that if you've come through the African qualification and you think about some of the teams that aren't here, Cameroon and Nigeria, it's obviously a very competitive route. I mean, the thing about Algeria is they do have a lot of players playing in Europe. Al-Nouri obviously plays for Man City. You've got a lot of players playing in France. Riyad Mahrez, of course, still playing, 35. I'd expect Argentina to beat them, but they should also be able to give it a good account of themselves. Bit of a stoppage here. We don't have this. We don't like this. We don't get lots of stoppages. Ooh. Drew says, good evening. Hope today's been well. You too, pal. We are doing Iraq against Norway tomorrow, yes. 5 minutes away from a hydration break as well. Another player who was magnificent but retired early but won 3 Ballon d'Ors is Marco van Basten. Oh, yeah, I mean, I only caught a little bit of his career, Ashish, but the best goal I've ever seen live, I wasn't at the ground, but on the telly, was that goal he scored in 88. I was only about 8. Just unbelievable. It's the sort of goal I wish we had modern technology to get a few better angles on it. It was an absolute... It was again... Was it Russia in the 88 Euros final? Oh, it was almost on the corner spot and he volleyed it in. Elite Tom Wilson says, hello from Washington, D.C. Absolute shame that we don't have a suitable stadium in the nation's capital to host a World Cup match. I was reading something today about Chicago. Like, there are a few big cities in the States that aren't involved in the World Cup. How far do you think Mexico will get? Says Quinn. The great thing about Mexico is the altitude and the familiarity of playing at home. If they can top the group, I think they play every game until the quarterfinals in Mexico. So it's not inconceivable that they get there. And they're another one of those nations who are a sum of their parts rather than about individuals. They play well as a team. Constantine says, do you think Diego Forlan was Uruguay's best ever player? Well, no, because I think Cavani's better than him, and I'm trying to think that there must be another. Who's the best player to play for Uruguay? I mean, some people would probably say it's Suarez, isn't it? They used to have a player a few years ago. What was it? Was it Paulo Sousa? He was a good player as well. But it probably is Suarez, as much as I can't stand him. Uruguay taking a few tumbles here. Free kick on the edge of the box. The dark arts. Anthony Francis says, Mark, Nicolo Schirra reported Ugarte offered to AC Milan. Doesn't make any sense though, does it? Because Amrim didn't pick Ugarte, so why would he want him? I'd find it really weird if Amrim bought Ugarte from Man United. Because they didn't really use him. In fairness, Suarez probably isn't Uruguay's best ever player because Uruguay won the World Cup twice, didn't they? So whoever was part of that team probably is. Isaac says, no, but you always say you want him to do well. Who cares? Well, that's just being a human being, isn't it? You know, I do want Rashford to do well. Pistol says, do you think Bruno's got a chance of Ballon d'Or if it really happens? If Portugal win the World Cup, they'll give it to bloody Ronaldo, like they did with Messi. Effortless Trading says, Ugarte is the shittest player at the World Cup. That's a bit harsh. I think Uruguay's problem here is going to be, can they put the ball in the back of the net? Because the the Saudi goalkeeper is looking quite confident at the moment. Beatrice, who's half Uruguayan, says, we develop a lot of players back in the likes of Peñarol, Nacional, our own Liverpool. Defensa Sporting is our main club that produces our current main talents. Then they sell to Brazil, Argentina, then Europe. Jazz in the Void has just gifted 50 memberships. I think if you've got a little badge, you need to say thank you to Jazz in the Void on YouTube. Absolute legend there. W's in the chat all round. Thanks, Jazz. Jack Rankin says, I love how this World Cup is being refereed. It's been the best flowing football I've seen consistently in years. Tackles for days. Prem needs this. I completely agree. Lovely cross into the box there, but no one can get on the end of it for Uruguay. And the longer the minutes go on, this starts to get panic for Uruguay. It was a great cross by Valverde, but nobody could get on the end of it. Yeah. Is it a hydration break? Yes, it's a hydration break, which means I can have a stretch. Yeah, I think even with like some of the challenging games we've had in the World Cup so far, because the game flows, there's no stoppages. I really think this is just such a important point to make, is that you might subconsciously be missing the fact that every game is going really quick. I mean, we're probably, some of us are quite used to it because we've had Bundesliga rights here on a Friday night. And the Bundesliga is like this. Like, VAR is mega quick. If it's a goal kick, the goalkeeper just gets it and plays straight away. The throw-ins are quick. So, but in the Premier League, it's the complete opposite, isn't it? You know, the amount of times last season in the Premier League, you'd see a player go down for a knock, foul, but 2 minutes before a free kick gets taken. And in this World Cup, that we just haven't had that at all. Ashish says, Juan Alberto Schifano led them to the World Cup with win versus Brazil and is considered their greatest playmaker. I didn't see him play. Odin, Zay, Zaki, Brennan, thanks for your follows on TikTok. Appreciate you. So yeah, Uruguay are going to have about 20 minutes to try and get an equaliser here. Rish says, everyone with pink boots. Mark recalled something. The funny thing is about the way the game flows as well is we don't notice it. You know, like, I haven't even had to think, oh, he's nearly took 10 seconds on a throw-in, give him a yellow card, because everyone's just getting on with it. Everyone's just, you know... Well, at least we're not going to get any thunderstorms here. Look, let's be honest, at some point, we are going to get games impacted by thunderstorms. But first yawn, not too bad. 20 to 1 in the morning, that's not too bad. Thomas says the thunderstorm is 20 kilometers out. If a lightning strike is registered within 8 kilometers of the stadium, there will be a 30-minute assessment period. Yeah, when this happens, Thomas, we're going to need some... We're going to need to, get some board games out or something, because that will do my head in. But you've got to get mentally prepared for that. It is going to happen. We've got so many games, and it's the climate, isn't it? They do get that type of weather. Goldio says they've barely shown any attractive females in the crowd this World Cup. Utter woke nonsense. Yeah, well, Goldio, in fairness, they did used to do that a lot. You're right. We can't deny it. You know, you can't get cancelled for saying that the cameraman or woman used to go and show a lot of females in the crowd from different countries. It did used to happen. But Goldio has noticed that and called it utter woke nonsense that it doesn't happen anymore. But if we're being completely honest, if it did happen, can you imagine the amount of complaints? Risk or Monopoly, says David. I've never played Risk in my life, David. I do like Monopoly, though. Dial says, will United Stand be in the all or nothing or not? Why would we be in it? United wouldn't want us in it anyway. They'll go and get... if they're going to use fans, they'll use bloody... be people like Andy Mitten, won't it? It'll be people who they like. Everyone, but I don't care about the club not liking me because the reason they don't like me is because I say what I think. Aidan, thank you very much for the follow. Connor, thanks for the follow as well. And Tom. Yeah, those Uruguay fans with their hands on their heads. It's starting to turn into one of those days. And remember, Saudi Arabia did win their first game in the Qatar World Cup, beating Argentina. And I did say at the start of the game, I'm not going to say lightning because that's a jinx. But they might do it again against a South American team. Ooh, to be honest, that did look quite painful. He landed on the back of his ankle. But he's up again now. Reese with the most... I don't even know how to describe this super chat, mate, because it's just unanswerable. Where will United finish next season? Where will Liverpool finish next season? Where will Chelsea finish next? It's going to be hard enough to predict that on the first game of the season, but it's impossible to predict it when we don't know who's coming in. Don says, funny the weather difference in the US. Here in California, nothing but sunshine in sight. Yeah, but mate, California's not down the road from Miami, is it? It's about, what, a 4 or 5 hour flight? It's like me saying, it's funny how it's sunny in Mallorca, Spain, and it's pissing down with rain here in London, UK, and that's only a 3 hour flight, so... Eric says it's actually 5+ hours flight. Bob says, thanks for the watch along. I need my bed. Good night. Don't blame you, mate. Not doing the 2 a.m. game. No. Nikan just literally just asked me that. Are you doing Iran, New Zealand watch along? No. No. Apologies. The same thing happened with Sweden last night. You know, there's a lot of Swedish fans that were saying, please do it, please do it. And I was like, I can't be watching football till 5 a.m. I have got to do United Stand at 10 a.m. And also tomorrow, I've got to do Argentina Algeria till 4 a.m. So you've got to pick your battles, really. Can't have burnout. And that, I suppose, that's the downside of a 48 team World Cup. You do have to miss some games because it's just relentless to try and catch them all. All the greats know when the game have passed them. When will Ronaldo hang it up, says Constantine. Talk about someone on TikTok just said there. Bazza said, have you seen the Scottish takeover at Fenway Park? I know a lot of people are in New York at the moment, and apparently there's a lot of Scots in New York, but you haven't got a game there. So I think a lot of Scottish people have just gone to New York to have a good time. I love trying new World Cup food like dildo, says Kay. And Back says, hello from Croatia. Prediction for England-Croatia. I'd say 4-0 England. No, to be honest, I'm doing my preview on this channel tomorrow, and I've got an idea of what I'm going to predict. But it's the first game of the World Cup. It's very unlikely that England are going to turn up and batter Croatia anyway. And also it's probably the hardest game of the group stage for us, with Ghana and Panama to come. Iron says, are thunderstorms not that common in Europe? I see people ask why they stopped the game for them. There's 6 big metal poles for it to strike. We do get thunder in the UK, but not... We had a thunderstorm about 2 weeks ago, and it went on from about 1 a.m. in the morning till about 3:30 in the morning. So it went on for about 2.5 hours, and it was loud. We do not normally get that level of stuff, no. Apparently I got baited because Kalo says, I love trying new World Cup food like dildo. It doesn't work though, does it? Because I didn't say dildo. I said dildo. It's a bit amateur. Bit amateur that, I think. But if you want to take it, you know, comedy's for everybody. Yeah, so we very rarely get like really bad thunderstorms. So what, he's got a good shot on him, that number 7 for Uruguay. It was a big block. I tell you what, this is turning into a very good... Only 10 minutes of normal time to go. And De La Cruz with the shot. He's got to score straight at the bloody keeper again. And goal! There we go. 1-1. They want an offside. They're not going to get one. That's a goal. And it's a goal for Uruguay at long last. And it's Araujo of Sporting to make it 1-1. I think there's a little kid there in a nappy. They're ecstatic with that. And at long last, the goalkeeper's been beaten. Finally, says Mayer. Not a dissimilar goal to the Saudi goal, really. Keeper makes the save, but it's the follow-up, the second ball. Pressure was building, says Bob. Well, there's not an offside there. And there's not an offside there. So it will be 1-1. Gentleman Chase says, in America we have tornadoes. England had to take shelter in Kansas City already. Well, 10 minutes to go. Will we get a winner here? Because Uruguay might push for it. Remember, this is Spain's group. Cape Verde will play both of these as well. All the all the South America. Well, I'm being a little bit presumptuous here, but from what we've seen so far, all the South American teams are very well supported in this World Cup. Ecuador was incredible numbers last night, wasn't it, against Ivory Coast? Zeno says, look who scored. Araujo, can't make my mind up. Moyo, thanks for your follow. And Daz on TikTok as well. And Coffee. It was Araujo who scored. Ben Fleming. Oh, God. Lovely ball out wide. Saudi have just got to keep their concentration now, because all this half, Uruguay have been playing with the higher intensity. Bring on Palestri and push for the win, says I'm not Wayne Rooney. Reese says, do you think Ronaldo will have a good World Cup? I think there's a lot of people hoping he doesn't have a good World Cup. I hope he does. The goal scorer has just been subbed off there. Rodriguez coming on. Corner to Uruguay. 8 minutes to go. No, Uruguay will push for the win here. Saudi really haven't done anything going forward. You've got the momentum. And a header just over the bar there from a corner. Have you noticed we're getting a lot of draws in the World Cup, says Sam. As long as they're not 0-0 draws, Sam, I don't really care. Des, Wilcox, and Mr. Akator, and M23, and JBM, thank you very much for your follows. It is relentless pressure here from Uruguay at the moment. If you're on YouTube, by the way, please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner, on the road to 1.5 million. We might do it during this World Cup. I mean, it is a month. More substitutions here. Saudi could do with just getting a little bit of possession up the pitch, because it's a lot of pressure for their defence. Our views have actually gone up on YouTube tonight. We're nearly at 9,000 now, which is incredible at 10 to 1 in the morning. So thank you everybody who's getting involved. Great community. Be part of it throughout this World Cup. And next watch along is France, Senegal at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Mark, funny story. In elementary, my mate misspelled bitch on a whiteboard and went on to correct himself out loud. That's not how you spell bitch. Safe to say I got detention for a week. Says Juan. You wouldn't get a detention for saying that these days, I don't think. I'd just say I was talking about a female dog. Rog says the goal scorer for Uruguay, Araujo, is wanted by Chelsea. I mean, he's a good player. I mean, Chelsea have also got Kenda coming in, haven't they? I'll tell you what. The referee didn't even book him. He just said play on. Hull's just got off from work since it looks like today's been eventful. Nice ball there. Will he keep it in? Yes, he will. It's a good cross. Keeper needs to come. Keeper don't like catching, does he? The Saudi keeper. Punches it away. Reports that Tonali's open to joining Spurs. That's a lovely cross. I can see a big chance for Uruguay in these last 5 minutes. Well, after this game, there's only one stadium we haven't been at in the World Cup so far, and that's Kansas, and that will be Argentina, Algeria at 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. Are you doing a watch-along for Mexico against Korea? That's a 2 a.m.er, isn't it, on Friday? I think I am, yeah. Yeah. Uh, 2 a.m. Argentina, Algeria, yeah. Well, I want to do that one anyway because, ooh, Saudi on the attack here. Not really done a lot of attacking in this game, and then Uruguay have it. I mean, I want to do Argentina anyway. They're the holders. I want to have a look at them and, you know, see what they're all about. But also, good shot there from Saudi. A little bit better. They're having a bit of attack. Also, as I said, Kansas is the only stadium we've not seen yet, so. Mexico, Korea, is it 5 a.m.? Nah. I thought Mexico's next game was 2 a.m. on Thursday. Let's have a look. Yeah, Mexico against South Korea is 2 a.m. on Friday. And Argentina, Algeria is 2 a.m. tomorrow. Darcy said, did Agate do good? I wouldn't say no. Another corner for Uruguay here. Oh no. He's giving a goal kick. No, offside. Good call, Lio. Itzy says, do you think James Rodriguez will do something this World Cup? I mean, James Rodriguez 12 years ago in the World Cup was probably the star of the World Cup. I mean, remember when he was at Everton as well? I mean, look, a lot of people have said Colombia are a team to watch. We'll have to see. Sabusi says, thoughts on Amrim in the Milan job? Lots of people have asked me about that. I hope he does really well, but I think Milan's a very difficult job. Similar to United, you know, a big club that's just not able to get back. I don't know whether it's about the manager or about how the club's being run. Nathan says, what did you think of Seattle, Mark, stadium? Oh, it was incredible. That was the Belgium game, wasn't it? Absolutely incredible stadium, yeah. Oh, good cross into the box. Saudi defender does really well to clear it for a corner. One of them's down injured here, but the referee helps him up. See what I mean about even the injured players? They go over to them and just say, get up. AC Milan missing Berlusconi, says Mex. Is Berlusconi dead now? He was the Prime Minister of Italy, wasn't he? I think he is. Keeper does well again, punches it away. We're nearly into the 90th minute, so it looks like this might be ending in a draw. Drew Lawson, so yeah, Drew says, we get thunderstorms here in Alaska that start huge forest fires. OBX says, would you have preferred if Ireland and Italy had qualified? Yeah, I mean, I've got more interest in Italy than I have in Bosnia, if I'm being honest. Nothing against Bosnia, but I would like to have seen Italy in it. But if you're not good enough, you don't deserve to be in it. So it's not like they deserve to be here. And I would love to have seen Ireland in the World Cup. But again, if you're not good enough, you're not there, are you? It's a very big World Cup. Apparently Berlusconi's not dead, he's in prison. I would have thought he'd be dead because he's 86. He's dead. He died in 2023. Great save by the keeper. He has made a lot of saves tonight. Can they find a winner here? Another cross into the box and another corner. 7 minutes added on. Man of the match, definitely the goalkeeper for Saudi for me. 100%. Shaka, thanks very much for your follow. Rory says he's tired of the draws. Please do subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, by the way. We're getting very close to 483,500 on that road to 5 million. 3 substitutes for Saudi here. Just probably about running the clock down a little bit and a bit of fresh legs. But look, you can see the referees again. They're like, we're not pissing about on substitutes. Get off the pitch. They've definitely been directed to get the games flowing, haven't they? And on every element, they do it. It's almost like they're on a bonus, aren't they, to do it? Because injured players get up, substitutes get off. No pissing about. Another group with everyone on 1 point. Says, but I've got a feeling that the England game against Croatia might be a draw. Oh, what a save by the keeper. A low shot from Valverde. He's got a lot of power in that. And it's going in the bottom corner. And the keeper has palmed it round for a goal kick, for a corner. Definitely man of the match. Their goalkeeper. But it's another corner for Uruguay. They can still win this. Oh, header just wide. Keeper would not have got on that. I mean, statistically speaking, I think Saudi will probably take this as a draw now, because I think Uruguay second half have absolutely dominated them. Let's have a look at the stats here. Yes, 65% possession, 24 shots, 9 on target to Saudi, 7 and 3. 10 corners to 4. I think on the balance, Uruguay probably should have won this. Half time, it was quite an equal game, but since then, it's been relentless. We've got another couple of minutes of added time here. It's a lovely ball into the flank, but he'll get across for the throw. Seven minutes in total. We've had 4. I did the stadium tour at the San Siro a few weeks ago. It was nice but disappointing. Museum was pathetic. Just a porter cabin with photos and strips, says Daniel. Yeah, it's a bit crap for a club like that, isn't it? Zeno says the consistency of quality on these Uruguay crosses is mental. I think if Uruguay had clicked, they could have scored 4 or 5 today. I mean, they might be a team to keep an eye on in future games, because they have looked quite good. But another corner here. Mark says, are you doing every game? No, I don't do every game. We're probably doing about 85% of the games, but there are some. I'm not doing New Zealand, Iran, and I'm not doing Jordan, Austria tomorrow night. But we are doing Argentina, Algeria. We have done the 2 a.m. games. Uruguay again attacking. Is there one more chance in this last 90 seconds? Probably deserve to win it, Uruguay, but they haven't put the ball in the back of the net. Yeah, tomorrow, well, next watch along, France, Senegal at 8. Norway, Iraq at 11. Argentina, Algeria at 2 a.m. So it's a big one tomorrow night. Another cross coming into the box. Good shots. It will be another corner. Fair play to this keeper. He doesn't try and hold it on. He just palms it out of danger every time. This is it. Last minute. Lovely bit of play. Another corner. Fucking hell, how many corners have we had? Last 30 seconds. Cross comes in. It's a good one. Good defending by Saudi. That should do it. Cleared away. I tell you what, Saudi would be very happy with this point. At half time, I'd have fancied them to get at least a point. That's a lovely ball, though. Saudi going to have to defend here because Uruguay are into the box. Little weight, little cross, and that should be it. No, he's given a throw. Maybe time for one more attack. It's going to blow in a minute. There comes the cross. Headed away. If he goes wide, they've got an overlap. They've got an overlap. And it's another corner. Will there be time for the corner? No. The corner's going to happen. We're into overtime of overtime now. It's a good cross. Bang! And that'll be it. And the Saudi player was running through our goal. He ain't happy. It finishes 1-1. I mean, look, Saudi Arabia should be very happy with that. I think they'll be absolutely exhausted. You would expect Uruguay to finish second in this group with Cape Verde and Spain in it. Saudi at half-time, I think maybe you thought they might win it, but second half, Uruguay were all over them. Uruguay's big problem is putting the ball in the back of the net. That's why Bielsa took his front two off at half-time. They were better in the second half, but I would say I don't really expect Uruguay to... I certainly would be very surprised if they get to the quarterfinals. I think the final, and we're sort of learning that, aren't we, with every game? And look, you can't judge people on one game either. We need to see teams after 2 or 3 games. But on that, I'd say Uruguay last 16 is probably about as good as it gets, to be honest. I think Saudi will probably get through as well. I mean, Cape Verde, if you get 4 points, I think you'll go through. Thanks for all the follows on TikTok, everybody. Appreciate it as usual. Any wild or crazy predictions, says Sabus? I don't think Brazil are going to do very well. Whether that's wild or not, I don't know. I know I do this every night at the end of the night when we're into the early hours, but I'm loving these watch-alongs. It's a pleasure. I actually probably feel more tired in the day. As soon as we get to the night and we start doing the games, I'm like, you know, it's like when you go out, isn't it? I'm loving it. So I'm not loving it enough that I'm going to do New Zealand against Iran. That is not happening. But think positive thoughts that this time tomorrow night we'll have just finished France and Senegal and Norway and Iraq, and we'll be doing Argentina, Algeria. So tomorrow night we're pulling a late one till 4 a.m., which I'm very excited about. So thank you everybody for tuning in as always. As I said, we have an amazing community here, and we're building an even better one in this World Cup. So if you've not given us a follow or subscribed, please do subscribe. And I've got my England-Croatia preview coming out tomorrow lunchtime. And then, as I say, we're back at 8 o'clock for what will be a very interesting game. Many people's favourites, France against Senegal. Then many people's dark horse, Norway against Iraq. And then the champions, the holders, Argentina. So big day of games tomorrow. Stay safe, everyone. Take care wherever you're watching from. It's been a pleasure, and I'll speak to you all in a bit.